And to finish off with, we're not going to look at this video. I keep telling you things we're not going to do in the book, but I have to be quite selective. Obviously, we're not going to record a video in a video. You can download these, as I said before, from the website. This was quite an interesting one, actually, but I think exams might be more important, or exam practice next week. So we're going to actually go on to the review. You've just had, it's page 105. I hope it's 105. Yes, it is. Sorry. Right. Not quite myself at the moment. So we are going to do the review, and I want you to read these things, and I'm going to count you down and then reveal the answers. This will not take 12 minutes like the last video. This is just a little bit of extra practice to, to practice some of the things that you've hopefully done while I've been away. Okay, so we have got gaze, glance, glare, observe, stare, and spot. Okay, and it says listen to 6 sentences and match the words in the box to the sentences. Okay, we will do this one as we go along, I think. Here we go.
Audio 10.14. 1. The scientist, the animals over a 3-month period.
Okay, it's long. It's keeping an eye on these animals. What do you think? Observed is number 1. Okay.
2. As he into her dark brown eyes, he realized he was falling in love.
Right. Is he staring into her eyes? Or is he gazing into her eyes? Or is he glaring into her eyes? Okay. Because the other two are short, aren't they? Spot and glance are short. Okay. So you can stare into somebody's eyes. As I said, it's neutral, even though very often we use it in negative situations. Glare is always angry. So it must be as he gazed into her eyes. Yes. Some of these are quite funny with the beeps in because you're used to that from MTV when somebody swears. Number 3.
3. You need to check your homework again. I've quite a few mistakes.
Now, we said glance is you want to look at something in a very short way. You can't glare at mistakes. It's not their fault. You wouldn't stand there staring at mistakes, would you either? If you notice something we said, I spotted.
He at me every time I say anything. It's really making me nervous.
Right. Now, actually, all 3 are possible, aren't they? Yeah, he glances at me every time, he glares at me every time, or he stares at me every time. Okay. Now, as I always say to you in exams, except for our speaking and listening exam, if you don't know something, go back later. I haven't checked the answers on this one. I would imagine it's going to be stares or glares, but I can't make up my mind because they both fit. So that's not very fair, is it? This is only level 1 work. I should have cheated beforehand or had my teacher's book with the answers or something. What shall we say? Glares at me? Yeah.
5. Everyone had her bright red and purple fur coat.
You know that one. But I've got to leave you 2.
I didn't have time to read the paper today. I just at the headlines.
Okay, so the short one, number 6, is glance. The staring at her dress, glance at the newspaper headlines, and there we go. Okay, and there we go. We needed to change them to make sure they're in the present or in the past as well, of course. Right, okay. Now, with the other ones, because they're not listening until we get to 4A, I'm just going to show you these ones. And of course, we're going to put them in order from your opinion on something at the beginning to the details, as the facts as we go on. Okay. I don't think we really mentioned number 3. It's just pointing out that the fact that when we have colours, we have to say "and," just like we do with drinks, okay, or alcoholic drinks anyway. When people say gin and tonic, it's the same thing with colours. They could be red and green or green and red. Okay, right. I'm going to put up the answers in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and here they come. A rare old silver teapot, a red and white woolen scarf, a large red and green or green and red flag, a handsome young film star. She was tall, young, and beautiful, and a large grey Indian elephant. Okay, that's the actual breed of elephant, or whatever we call them. On to this one. You need as soon as, if, in case, unless, until, and when. Sometimes more than one is possible. Okay. As soon as means at that very moment. Okay. Now, you could say when you walk into almost any shop, or as soon as you walk into almost any shop. Okay. And this says as soon as because it makes it more immediate. But you could use when. Okay. I wouldn't say if, because if you don't, then you don't you don't get any of that. So let's you read through this, see what you think. And the answers are coming in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Here we go. How shops use your senses to get you to spend more. As soon as you walk into almost any shop, you're immediately overwhelmed with sights, sounds, smells, and things to touch. Supermarkets know what their most popular items are, so they don't put them at the front of the shop in case you just come in and buy a carton of milk. They put them at the back, so you have to walk through and see everything else. Unless you keep your eyes down, you'll probably buy things that you hadn't planned to get. Some shops are even designed so you have to walk around until you've seen everything. People are more likely to buy something if it's on the centre shelf. So shops put the most expensive items there. They also try to stimulate your other senses with the smell of fresh baking or by getting you to touch things, because they know that when you touch something, you're more likely to buy it. Okay? Now, you could have had when here, because if it's on the centre shelf is not as strong as when it's on the centre shelf, but I think it's every time, so probably when would work there. If you touch something, if you think maybe I won't touch it, okay? So yeah, when means it's going to happen, if means it could happen, but in these two cases, they're pretty much interchangeable, okay? Oops, I've been scrolling too much. I hope you followed that. Right, up to, whoops, sorry. Oh, I don't know which way to scroll on this. I'm going to do the definitions, and again, we'll do this one live. Here we go.
Audio 10.15. 1. Very silly or unreasonable.
Very silly or unreasonable. Right. Difference between comical and ridiculous. Ridiculous is stupidly funny, isn't it? Comical can just be it makes you laugh. Yeah?
2. Not interesting and taking too long.
Is a very good definition of, yep, tedious.
3. Not worth doing or watching.
If it's not worth it, it is pointless.
4. Clever and amusing.
Clever and amusing. Thought-provoking can be negative. Okay? It can make you feel sad about things. Witty makes you laugh because it's clever.
5. Stupid or silly.
Right. Now, silly behaviour can be annoying. It gets on your nerves, but childish is when it is done in a... It's immature, isn't it? Immature is childish. Okay. And the last one, good or bad?
6. Unpleasant or offensive.
Okay, one of his unpleasant, hilarious means it's really funny. Distasteful means it's unpleasant. Okay, and there we go. Right, some useful adjectives to use there. The last thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to ask you to do this. Okay, and it's those verbs again that we had before with look and see and hear and listen to and watch and things like that. Okay, please press pause now because I'm going to give you 5 seconds warning and then I'm going to play the recording with the answers. Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Audio 10.16. 1. American children and adults do watch a lot of TV, but not as much as that. The average for a child in the USA is 4 hours a day. 2. Amazingly, the second statement is true. Babies can distinguish between different languages before they are born. 3. The third statement is also true. It seems that boys are generally less interested in reading than girls, and using a touchscreen device can help to get them more involved. 4. Babies cannot see very well when they are born, but they can definitely see a face that is quite close to them. 5. People used to think that listening to Mozart made children more intelligent. But, in fact, the research was done using adults, not children, and the effect only lasted about 15 minutes. 6. This percentage was true in 2010. It's probably a lot more than 45% now. So be careful what you put online.
And of course, I completely forgot to ask you to also decide whether it was true or false. So you've got the answers why it's true or false. Yeah, they watch TV. The child hears the mother's voice before they are born. You need to be able to touch an interactive screen. You can't feel it. If you feel it, you'll just feel glass. They can't see faces. Listening to music, not just hearing it. Although, actually, in that case, you could say they are just hearing it because we can't guarantee they're listening to it. You could never guarantee that for somebody else unless you ask them, are you listening to this? And finally, of course, they look at the social network profiles of applicants. But it's a lot more than that now. Be careful what you put online. Okay, right, that ended up being a lot longer and not as well coordinated as I wanted to. I am pretty sure I will see you next lesson in person. Okay, so don't forget to prepare your presentations and your questions for part 1 of the speaking exam. Okay, see you soon. Bye.